Beauty Supply. This is boar hair underneath, and it has nylon bristles that are not hard and not soft. Do not use the one that have the little balls on them, because those will actually grab the hair. So if you want, you can come up and take a picture of this. They have these at Sally's Beauty Supply for about $10. Sometimes you can find them on Amazon too. For whatever reason, Sally's is usually sold out of this brush.
Yep.
Is that
I
just
bought the
for
last.
long-haired breeds, or is that for short?
This is for long hair, medium to long hair. Okay, short-coated breeds, don't use this. For short-coated breeds, which I'll demonstrate here, you're going to use a straight boar brush, just like this. Never use a pin brush, never use a slicker brush. And also the combs that you would use too would be something more like this. This has a titanium finish on it, and it will allow it to get into a nice thick coat, but it's not going to be so aggressive that it's going to pull valuable hairs. Where some of the other coats with the metals that are designed on those coats, you think you're doing a great job by combing through there, but they're too aggressive and you're getting rid of hairs that should be there. Now, there are going to be some things where we're going to have what's called a controlled blow, where this dog will blow coat from time to time, but we want to control that. I'm going to show you some techniques where we can get some of the weaker hairs to come out, and we'll do this in a process over a period of weeks, so we create lots of layers. And what's going to happen with those layers is that when this dog blows coat for real, it'll blow the longest, weakest hairs, but we're going to create many different layers in there, so the stronger hairs are going to stay in. That means you can show this dog year round.
So would this be appropriate for Labradors?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's perfect for labs. Okay, you don't need to soak your dogs. What you're going to do is just create a light mist, and that's it. That's all you need right there. Because I see people that not only are spraying their dogs with water, which is bad, but they're also using those double pumps, and I mean, it looks like they just came out of a swimming pool. I was ringside one time where I'm watching this girl. I could tell she was an assistant for somebody, and she's got this double pump sprayer, she's got this wet towel, and she's got this Bernese Mountain Dog that had the curliest, nastiest coat ever. And what she was doing was actually making that coat worse. Okay, so as soon as I spray, then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to brush this dog, going the direction of the way the hair is going. And what this is going to do is you're going to create better depth. Your whites are going to be wider, your browns are going to be browner. And it's also going to start to lay these cuticles down. It's going to hydrate the cortex, so when it hydrates the cortex, it's going to make it so it's not wavy, kinky, and curly. And this is just a nice thing to do to get this dog in a great condition. So when you're ready to do your grooming job,
And you're just barely going over
and
it.
I'm
You're barely
going
touching.
over. I'm not being aggressive on this. I'm just brushing this into the cuticle and the cortex, letting this set in. Anytime I do a grooming session and anytime this dog goes out to play, I'm going to spray and brush this into the coat. And it's not going to be a quick fix. It's, nothing with a show dog should be a quick fix when it comes to grooming. It's going to be just a period of time, and it's also going to be a nice little bonding time going through this.
So Slider goes out 3 times a day and plays.
Then 3 times a day, brush that dog. Your German Shorthair, if that dog is swimming and playing out and doing all that stuff, you're going to want to do this before it goes to play. But that's your show dog. But when you do that, it's really going to get this coat in nice shape. Feel that coat right there.
Oh yeah, that's way better.
And that was one light little mist right there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my comb with the wide side, and I'm going to find any weak hairs that need to come out. This will grab specific hairs that are weaker and get rid of those. So again, when I do this particular job, I'm going to do like maybe once every couple of weeks to pull these hairs out. So when this dog does blow, it's not going to blow the entire coat. It's just only going to blow the longest layer.
She's blowing right now too. By the
Yep,
way.
yep.
doing this hair regiment with eggs and beer and,
Uh-huh.
and vinegar and stuff, and cider goes and plays in the creek and comes in muddy.
It's gonna shake and fall right off.
Yeah.
So let it dry and then,
Let it shake and it'll fall right off.
She went out in the mud last night after I bathed her, and she's not dirty.
Yeah, so your dogs will stay cleaner with this too.
yeah.
So then here I'll come in, maybe come in with a finer side of the coat, nothing's coming out. This is all I need to worry about right now.
Good girl.
So next week when I do this again with the comb, not the brush, but with the comb, then I'm gonna find some more hairs that are ready to come out. Now, let's say I end up with an area that's a little bulky. And I want to refine that a little bit so it's not so bulky. A lot of times you'll get this area right here. Now there's a tool on the there's some tools on the market that look like this, but they're not the same. This tool here, these are guards. With the other tools that are on the market, those are actually cutting tools right there, and they use them to break up mats and things like that. This has little tools in between that will only find softer hair. This is a carding tool, only finding undercoat. So if I have a bulky area, I can just gently come into where that bulky area is right there and find just a little bit of that undercoat that's weaker and loose to bring that down. And look what it's doing to that top line. Now I'm not going to do this all over the dog because I don't want this dog to not have that undercoat. And I don't want to pull out a lot of undercoat because then it'll all grow back at the same time. And when that happens, then I'm going to have bulky area, and when it blows, it's going to blow all that. But you'll notice in this that there are no guard hairs in here. But on the other tools that look like this, it actually cuts the guard hairs at the same time that it does this. Okay, so I come in, I look at my dog. All this looks good. This is a little bulky right here, so I'll come in and take just a little bit of this out so I can smooth this into this shoulder and this front. I want the judge to be able to see this angle right here. That's a little bulky here. And I want to take this out in here so that leg sets back a little bit. Okay, now I want depth of chest, I want length of leg. So I'm going to visualize where this leg is, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to take just a little bit of this undercoat behind here so you guys will see length of leg.
Stop.
Okay, so that builds this up here so you see a little bit more length of leg. I'll come over to my rear, do the same thing. So now you can see good angulation in here, and it's not just one block of hair. At this point, I want to show my points of my front. So what I'm going to do is one of two things. I want to make sure that my top line is right where it needs to be. So I'm going to take all this hair over 90 degrees, and this dog's running high in the rear. Whatever this stuff is that's sticking out here is what the judge sees for a top line. See how far this hair is sticking out? I'm taking the hair from this side, bringing it over like this. And so this, when this dog runs, it's really going to look high in the rear, but she's not high in the rear. My first option is to try to find weak hairs that are creating this problem. So I take this 13 millimeter stone and just the tip of it, and I want to grab these hairs that are sticking out the furthest. The reason why I'm doing this is because this is actually pulling out from the root of this hair, so it's going to take months to come back and be another problem.
Stop.
And then if I do this every few weeks, I'll create many layers, so it's not going to come back in a big bushel like this again. Then I'm going to take and comb my hair back out again. Okay, so these are embedded a little tight, so I'm going to come in with my thinning shear. This thinning shear has a very specific angle on it, and so it is designed so you cannot see where you have cut. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut these longest hairs just on the tips. It's not going to take a lot of hair like a normal thinning shear does, but it's going to blend this. Okay, then I bring this out again, and I can see that there's still more hairs out there, but I don't, this is not a poodle, so I don't want to make this perfect.
Stop.
I just want to take these tips off right here. And the other thing too is the hair is dehydrated. So as she does more beer and egg baths, it'll hydrate and lay better. But watch what happens as I comb this down now.
Whoa. Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah.
I can see the difference between here where it didn't get
Exactly.
done and here where it did. Stop.
And so once she gets this under control with the beer and eggs and does these little things, when this dog is jumping, running, playing, this dog will look perfect all the time. Where everybody else is going to have hair on here that's going to say, look at me, look at me, look at me. Now the other thing is, on the rear of this dog, to see the angulation of where it's supposed to be, if you go down the center line, wherever this is should be the tip of the butt. And many times that is not. You don't want to eyeball or guess this. So what you want to do is take your comb and you're going to go 90 degrees like this, and you guys are going to see beautiful angulation on this. I'm going to take this 90 degrees, and then I'm going to take my stone and I'm going to sight down the side of this dog, and any hairs that are sticking out past that point, I'm going to take these off level with the side of this dog.
Oh. You can tell I've never done this before.
Yeah. Okay. Bring this back down again.
Stop.
And look at how it cleans up that butt. Isn't that nice?
So you would do that with any long-haired dog?
Yes. Yeah, golden retrievers, even a border collie with the hair sticking out back here like this. But this is going to give you the actual shape that you need right here. Every once in a while, I'll come in and do this. Because as you get rid of problem hairs, other problem hairs will expose themselves and say, hey, look at me. My first go-to tool will be this 13 millimeter stone, because I want to get rid of these hairs from the root, because that will not be another problem for many, many months now. If I don't have the density to take care of that, then I'll come in over here like this. Let's say this dog is going through a blow or a false pregnancy or something, and I don't have the density. Then what I'm going to do is take the tips of these hairs off with this thinning shear. And again, this thinning shear is going to take longer than others. This is not a thinning shear to be used in a grooming salon, because otherwise it's going to take you too long to do those dogs.
Stay.
But it's going to be very forgiving and make it look like it's natural. And look at how beautiful that rear is looking now.
So what you're telling me is don't use my king cheese to do this.
No, because that's something that you want to get dogs in and out. And what's going to happen with that is that it's going to look like it's been groomed.
Okay.
But here, see where the tip of that butt is? It made it there perfectly. I did not have to eyeball that. And you come straight down here, boom, you see the tip of that butt. Now we have this hair back here where the hocks are. Never, never, never cut the back of that hawk hair right there, because you'll make it look sickle hawk. What you want to do is you want to take this hair and you want to move this to the side like this.
And you're taking all of it to the side?
All of it to the side, from one side to the other.
Stay.
Okay, once I get that there, I'm going to do the same thing. If you were to look at this from the rear, there's no hair here and there's a bunch of hair sticking out right there. That's where it's going to make it look sickle hawk. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to take these tips
Stay.
to get rid of that hair, and I'm going to come in even with the side of that foot. And we're missing hair here, so we're not going to do anything with that, but we're going to let that grow in. Okay, then I'm going to do this again. I don't want to get rid of my density, so I did a little bit with my 13 millimeter tool. Now I'm going to come in with my thinning shear,
Stay.
and I'm going to take off those tips level with that foot. So I'm missing hair here and I'm missing hair there. Now when I bring this down, this is going to make this straight once all that hair grows in. I'm going to bring this over here, do the same thing.
Ignore that
Yeah.
she still has a dew claw.
Yeah, I got it.
It'll die.
And I don't have density here, so I'm going to take off these tips.
Stay.
Would you do it any different on a dog like Belgians? They can have
Nope.
slightly sickle.
Same thing.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll clean up that hock, and the judge, when viewed from the rear, will see a perfectly straight bone there, and viewed from the side, it will be at the perfect angle there. I'm going to take my hand and bring this down, and where I'm going to trim this is level with this pad. So this hair is not long enough. That needs to grow longer so it comes even with this pad right here.
Okay.
And once I do that, when the judges see this dog moving and running, it's going to look perfect, and it's going to look like it naturally grows like that. Okay, so now I'm going to come into here. You've seen me use the rake in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in where this leg is, and I'm going to pop this out like this and see if any hairs are sticking out. There's not a lot. There's only a couple. So I'm going to take just the tips of those out. And then when I come in like this, look at how that leg pops out.
That's one area I concentrate on thinning.
Here, I'm going to do the same thing. Here's my leg. I pop this up. Look at all this hair that's in the way. So I'm going to come in here, take off just the tips of that. And when I take off the tips of that, then all of a sudden you'll start to get a leg forming here, where you get depth of chest, length of leg. And again, once this gets hydrated, it'll just get better and better and better. Okay, now we're going to do the front real quick. So go ahead and have her sit.
Painter sit.
This is the time where they get to sit on the table,
She's not
which
used
she
to that.
doesn't want to. Baby girl, good girl.
Stay.
Good. Okay, so now I just need to get to this front and try to keep her head straight.
Okay.
Good. So on the front of this dog, when you go through the center, that should be the furthest point sticking out. Many times in this breed, Goldens, breeds that have chest hair like this, they make it too low. And when you make it too low, it makes it look like this upper arm is too short.
Stop.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this hair and I'm going to move this 90 degrees just like I did with the butt. Now when I move all this hair 90 degrees, I'm going to come in with my thinning shear and take off anything that sticks off past the side of this coat. So we're missing a little bit of hair right here, but once that grows back in, that will look perfect every time. Then I'll take the other side, do the exact same thing. Okay. Then on the front of this, she's kind of at an odd angle, so it's hard for you
Here,
guys to see.
let me turn her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the front of this, people go, well, what do I do with this stuff? So what you want to do is comb this over here, 90 degrees again, and you're going to visualize a V from the center line of this dog, and you're going to take off any hair that's in the front of this leg. And the reason why you're doing that is that that's going to let the judge see the angulation on the front. If you let that hair block that leg, then what's going to happen is the judges are going to say that this dog has no front. Once you find that center line here, all these little wispies that are hanging here don't need to be there. So now you can take these off. And that's going to give you a cleaner line on the bottom. Just like that. Okay, let me take this off here.
Head straight.
Okay, have her stand up now.
Yeah, stand.
Have her head up straight, and look what it does to the front right there. So it really sets these legs back. This starts to put the prosternum right where it needs to be, and there's no guesswork whatsoever. Isn't that cool? Okay, I'll show you the trick too. Okay, so here, this is supposed to be flat here over to the top of these ears. So what I would do is I would take this comb right to where that is here and hold this at an angle, and then I come in with my thinning shear and I'm going to take off just what sticks off on this side over here. And what that'll do is that'll make this flat on the leather but keep this straight across like that. And otherwise, they end up looking like they were groomed with a chainsaw.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Yeah?
I'm just now learning Aussie ears, guys.
Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my 8mm tool. This is more for detailed stuff. And I'm gonna come into where my ear is, and I'm gonna take just the longest hairs, nice weak hairs. I'm not holding and pinching really hard. And this is blending this into my leather right here. And I'll come all the way down to the end of that leather. Then I'll come out this direction here, and if I have anything in here that is getting in the way, I'll take that out, and then I'll come to the back and do the same thing and just blend this stuff down. You can see there's way too much back here.
Yeah.
And I blend this all the way to the bottom of this ear. So this stuff here is all too long, but this tool will take that out, but not make it look like it was groomed with a chainsaw. It'll make it look like it's natural, like that. See, isn't that cool? How much hair did I take off this dog?
Not a lot.
And how much of a difference did it make? So if you do simple things like this, that dog's gonna run into that ring and look spectacular without hardly any work whatsoever.
So
You know?
that tool that you use, does that pull the hair or does that cut the hair?
No, it pulls the hair. But it's designed, there's a lot of people that copy my inventions, but it has a special grit on it that allows it to find hairs that are weaker.
I need those for my griff.
Oh yeah, definitely. The other tools, they designed them too aggressive and you're just ripping coat out. And that's not what you want. You want this to look like this is naturally growing like this. The more beer and egg she does, the more this will lay down, the better you can get this. But you use the same techniques throughout the whole dog. Okay, let's give this dog a hand and let me have my juice for it.